delegation, which is, I think, representing your interest there too, and represented here today. I don't want you to leave the impression that somehow, although I know it seems like this a lot on the Western Slope because I spent a good deal of time here, that somehow the Capitol was deaf to your pleas. I think we're just trying to figure out how to reconcile all of the demands that we face in a Constitution that contains them. I think your support, your participation in this process would help, and I think if you regionalize it, it would help even more. I think it's a good suggestion. You have any other suggestions? Or yes? Yes?
Thanks for your attention to the fact that Colorado's last or near last in both mental health funding and substance abuse funding. What can we as voters do to try to make a change and get us moving up?
You know, we are. I think that if I want to be sure to end on some good news here. I think we are making a change. We passed some legislation a couple years ago that says Department of Healthcare Policy and Finance, Department of Corrections, talk to each other. We didn't. In fact, their data systems didn't even coincide. We would incarcerate people so mentally ill they qualified as disabled and received Medicaid. Then we terminated their benefits, released them without eligibility. We decided to re-enroll them before they got out. There are a captive population. They don't have trouble making appointments to sign up the paperwork they need. So we said, what if you actually enrolled them before release, before parole, and got them back on a course of treatment? We're making some progress on both prenatal care and postpartum care for women who suffer from drug or alcohol abuse. We had a program in place that said, okay, if you're pregnant and you give birth, you're drug or alcohol addicted, we'll treat you. But we'll cut off the treatment at 6 months, no matter what. 3 months, I think we said, postpartum. Well, sometimes the treatment hadn't run its course and folks were still addicted. We said, why don't we extend treatment at least for a year until the treatment is pronounced effective. I know that's never, a guarantee. So we are making some progress, and as I mentioned, Governor Ritter's emphasis, trying to look at whether we can even adjust some sentences for nonviolent offenders and return for more funding for treatment. Even Governor Owens signed some legislation along those lines. So I think we are making some progress. If you agree with that set of priorities, you ought to tell your legislators, tell me, call the governor's office, lobby for more. Mick, do I have time for one more question? Or?
Andrew,
Sorry, Ken.
Last year I came to you with a complaint. And,
take a number.
we got the complaint resolved.
Oh, good, right.
I want to thank you for that. You were one of the people I came to. What had happened was the Senate Bill 1 money for transit wasn't going to be spent on transit. And
Right.
CDOT, with a few hands, developed a process by which that money is actually spent on transit as opposed to additional language that buses could maybe use.
Right.
Like climbing lanes of bail were considered transit projects. And I appreciate that, and so now I'm bringing you another problem.
Good.
And, one at a time. I think that's good.
Yeah.
The problem we're having is this. There are developers in this region, in Summit County and Pittsburgh and Telluride, that are willing to, as part of their development process, put deed restrictions on rental units as part of the project so that we get a component of worker housing. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court, by a vote of 5-2, said that that was a rent control illegal under our rent control statute. We're still, in this region, looking for relief from that because people can't even voluntarily create affordable housing. Governments can do it because we own it.
Right.
Developers who want to do this say, look, I'm not going to do this because if I do it, the guy who would sell the corporation to can revoke it. Just cite this Telluride case, and we've had people come in and say, yeah, I know we promised this, but we're not going to do it because we don't have to, so yada, yada. We need some relief from that, and I'm asking you again, I talked about this privately, but since Gail is here, maybe Kathleen is here, we really need some relief there because we do need deed restrictions of affordable housing to make that work in our development process.
Yeah, I think this is worth a longer conversation. It's one that we could have. I don't know if Kathleen is going to be here, I think, at some point today. If I don't see her yet. I worked on some of this issue, as you know, with Penn Tate. He used to be in the state Senate a few years ago. We didn't get a proposal out of the committee, I think, much less out of the legislature. But I'm happy to sit down with you and other folks who are interested in trying to reach a resolution there. I want to just, and I appreciate the first point you made as well. When I was talking about rising transportation costs, one way to slow the rate of increase might be to invest in some alternatives to traditional highway building, like mass transit, including those options in the Western Slope. I think the support is broad and deep, and I think the savings, not just in terms of costs in the long run, but time and pollution are considerable. We cannot just pave our way out of this transportation mess. We haven't talked much about the hole in that part of the budget, but we face a deep challenge, and I'm glad that your community is well represented on that panel as well. A lot of you asked how you can help, and I'm reminded, I'll tell you just one last story of Adlai Stevenson. He ran for president in 1952 and 1956. He was evidently too smart to get elected, and a woman came up to him. He was the governor of Illinois at the time, and a woman came up to him and said, Governor Stevenson, she said, I really enjoyed your speech. You have the support of every thinking American. And he said, well, thank you very much, ma'am, but it's not enough. I need a majority. We need a majority of folks to help us think this through. And I hope that you'll be part of that coalition. I think we are lucky to live in one of the most beautiful states in the most prosperous nation on the face of the earth. There is no reason in the world that we can't solve these problems and provide for our kids what I think every single American deserves, a solid education and a steady source of health care and a safe place to live and grow up. I think we can do that in Colorado. We can do it in the 21st century. I hope you'll help. Thanks very much.